What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 17th of August, and here we are at about 117.7K, 117.8K almost, with 6 hours, 41 minutes left in the day. Had a little bit of a move up, and now we're moving down. This isn't necessarily the Sunday that I was expecting it to be, but I wasn't expecting it to be like the last few Sundays have been, where we pumped up over 1%, almost 1.5% there. Here we pumped up 2%, right? The Sunday before that, we moved up 1.2%. Here we are only up 0.3%. So this is a rather lackluster Sunday, which is all in all what we were expecting, but I was more expecting today to be a red day. We still have 6 hours, 40 minutes left. Pretty big wick to the upside. Could we come down? Absolutely. Could we come back up? Could we go to 118K again, 119, 120K? Absolutely. By the end of the day, it can happen. Sundays are known for pumps, and that absolutely could happen, but I am expecting that we do continue to go lower still. Absolutely. The expectation is that we still have more to go whenever it comes to this downside. From a low to a high, we've gotten close to our golden ratio. Coming back up to the 0.5 like this and wicking above it is not a good look if you want to find support, right? So likely what we're going to do is come down to the golden ratio zone, which is at 116.5K. At a minimum, that's what I would expect we go. But I would think that we do go lower, something that's below 116K, maybe 115.5, 115.6K, if not all the way down to 114.5K. Could we even go lower than that? Absolutely. I don't think we do, but if we do, it's okay. Bitcoin has shown significance on the 786 level here. Not 114.5K, but just the Fibonacci level, the 786, this line here. It's shown significance on this about like 4 or 5 times throughout this range, maybe more than that actually. Significant little pivotal moments in this range's trajectory, and I wouldn't be surprised in the least if we did find support down there, right? If we're looking at these liquidation levels over the past week, most of this gets cleared out once we hit about just under 115K. We get to 114.4K. Most of these longs get cleared out. We do still have more shorts on the 7-day time frame. We do have more longs on the 30-day time frame, and that would switch. We'd have more shorts on the 7-day and the 30-day, and probably even the 1-day if we were to take out all these longs, man. 114,500 takes us right up against this little area here, right in this zone of nothingness. So we clear out a bunch of longs, clear out about $7 billion worth of longs or more by that time, and that might be exactly what we need in order to move on up, right? Clear out those longs, pile on the shorts, we have fuel to the fire, and then we will go higher. If we're looking at this here on the 1 hour time frame, the 1 hour actually looks like it might bounce here. We got 38 minutes left. You came down a good bit, but now you're coming back up. It's very possible that we do bounce here. You know, finding support at prior resistance, possible. 38 minutes left. Don't get too excited. Looking at the RSI, it looks like we're at an area where you might expect to bounce. Yeah, right there. So if this 1 hour closes green, we'll probably move up. Stochastics look like they're in an area to bounce too. And the MACD's crossing, but who cares? It's, it's the 1 hour. Who cares? I mean, you had a little cross here too to the downside, and you still moved up right at this bouncing point. So it's actually very similar to what you did last time. Very well could move up again if we do move up to about $118,000, $119,000. That wouldn't throw off the thesis that we go lower. Ultimately, I think that we're just in this upward sloping consolidation phase and an overall more momentary downtrend here, right? So we're likely going to move lower. If we're looking at this on the 4 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame, the stochastics actually don't look too good on the 4 hour, but we have 2 hours 37 minutes left. Let's see how this turns around. You know, the 4 hour does outweigh the 1 hour time frame. Rejecting the 52, that's actually not a good look in itself. And you have a downtrend in the 4 hour time frame. Lower lows, lower highs. Might you go to the oversold zone? I think you have a date with destiny there, but you could go a little bit higher first. And the MACD, same thing like the 1 hour, right? It crossed green, but who cares, right? You cross green here and you still went lower. You cross red here and you still went higher. It's somewhat unreliable whenever you're moving sideways and you're on these lower term time frames. But we might get that bounce. We might get and it would make sense if we get that bounce here. When I say bounce, it could be up here to 120K. It could be just to a lower relative high at 118.4K, and then we go lower, whatever. Maybe it's a slightly higher high even. We keep this trend up, go right below 119K, and then go down. But I would expect that Monday brings some red price action probably going into this week here. And the stochastics, I would be surprised. You know, if we close this, we're gonna have some confliction in the charts here. If this 1 hour time frame closes green, and then this 4 hour time frame closes red, the 4 hour would suggest down, but the 1 hour might suggest up. It would be interesting to see which one prevails. I would put my money on the 4 hour time frame over the 1 hour. And regardless of how much we move up or don't move up, I would still assume that we do move lower, right? So I'm hopefully I'm making that clear. Rejecting the overbought zone here. We're at the 50. Good area to find support. Will we find support? We'll see. You know, you had a momentary little neutral green day yesterday, but that's not enough. I think we'd need today to close green here or higher to really emphasize the bounce here at the 50. And even then, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go up to see new all-time highs. Stochastics are chilling. I would think they get into the oversold zone before we start to move up, and the MACD has just crossed red, which would also make me think that we go lower before we move up. So a lot more, in my opinion, leaning toward the downside than the upside. But things can change very fast. We're in that phase of the market, you guys, where things necessarily don't make sense all the time, and we can just defy gravity and logic. 6 hours, 35 minutes left in the week. This week does have a very bearish wick about it, a very, very bearish look about it. You know, the last time that we saw something like this, we actually ended up closing that next week green and even above where the week closed before. But first, we went lower. So in that same kind of essence, I would think that we do go a little bit lower next week just to start the week out. I do anticipate we'll see prices below 116K, but at least at 116.5K, if not at most 114.4K, something like that. And if we go lower than that, that's okay too. I think it'd be crazy if we went below this low, you guys. If we went below this low, Bitcoin's definitely playing with the bears because you got the double top, you got the lower lows, super volatile because you got higher highs and lower lows, and then boom, then we rip to the upside. That'd be crazy, but I don't think we're going to get that low. Time will tell. We'll see how it goes. I don't have anything else that I want to say. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. On the weekly time frame, everything does look super bullish, but I would like it if we could just get into the overbought zone. This behavior right here, you guys, what we're doing with the RSI, it's not like Bitcoin. I mean, throughout its history, we've done this like 4 times, and 2 of them have been right here. Like, it just doesn't happen. Typically, when you get overbought, you get there, or at least you stay there for weeks. You know, like it's really weird and strange behavior that we're doing right now, and I think it's to throw people off. I think we're loading up the truck and consolidating. We're winding up that spring, so to speak, so that when the spring has sprung, we're really launching through the roof. I think this next move up will be the biggest move, maybe the biggest move of the cycle. It really could be the biggest move of the cycle. You know, we'll see moves that are like this, akin to this here, or like this, right? It's going to be just a nice straight move up that we haven't seen really since this move back in November, or maybe at least here in April. But it's the potential for it to be larger than any of these moves that we've seen so far this cycle, I think, is really there. And that might be why we're winding up here in the overbought zone with the RSI. But hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care of yourselves. All right. Bye-bye.